Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Slurv. I'm Steve. This is Cash Game Cornerstones for Friday, June 3rd. Let's get right into it as we got a big slate. Happy Friday, though. I'm pretty excited for it myself. Always ready for a weekend. All right, so pitching tonight is not so terrible, unlike it's been, the past two nights or so. We got Noah Syndergaard going up against Miami, in Miami, which is great. Nice ballpark boost there. The Marlins have not been formidable lately. Giancarlo Stanton is back in the lineup. I just saw the lineup came out a couple minutes ago. And so that's, it's not great, but honestly, I'm not even sure it's a downgrade because he's been so bad lately that maybe it's even an upgrade the way he's been striking out. Anyway, Thor is 12.1 on DK, 10.6 on FanDuel. Easily the priciest pitcher. But I think he's well worth it. I would definitely try to get him into any cash game lineup, on either site. On DK where you need somebody else, or if you're just being a cheapskate on FanDuel, we got Drew Pomeranz, and he's going up against Colorado, and I like it because they're not as good outside of Coors, and the shift to San Diego should be a pretty big shift in elevation for them coming right from Coors, which might throw them off a little more, especially in the first game there. He's 8.9 on DK, love that price there. 8.9 on FanDuel is a little bit harder to justify when you got Thor at 10.6. And you also got Kenta Maeda, who I really like, but I expect he'll be quite popular tonight. Pomeranz might be a little less popular because people don't always want to target Colorado because they've seen the outbursts in Coors. Pom's got that great park in San Diego going for him. Anyway, Kenta has Atlanta tonight, and he's 9.1 on DK, so a little bit more than Pom there, and 8.6 on FanDuel, so a little bit less than Pom there. I like him on both sites, but especially on DK, because on FanDuel I'm really trying to get Thor in. And on DK I really like pairing Thor with either one of Pomeranz or Kenta. And I don't totally hate going Pom and Kenta to get some more money for bats. Catcher, always my favorite position. And it's not a great outlook today. We do have Steven Vogt going up against Doug Fister. It's a nice matchup for him. 3.4 on DK, kind of pricey, but he bats high in the order, which is nice for cash games. He's fairly consistent. 2.8 on FanDuel, great price there. On DK, you also get to choose from Matt Wieters, who I'm not always fond of recommending, but he's been doing quite well lately. And then Nathan Eovaldi, his opponent, has not. 3.4 also on DK, 3.0 on FanDuel. That's an easy choice to vote for me. And then also at that price, you got Blake Swihart on DK. I'm not that big on him there versus Dickey. He hasn't been that great against Dickey in very limited at bats in the past, but sometimes with a knuckleballer, that's a little more relevant. But all the same, I don't hate him at 3.4, and on FanDuel at 2.6, I really like him for a punt. For a DK punt, and this is absolutely like the puntiest of the punts, Yadier Molina against Johnny Cueto. Cueto's obviously good, but Molina's 2.1 on DK. He's 2.5 on FanDuel, forget about it. But on DK at that price, I think you got to consider him, even though he's been cold. If he gets a hit and scores a run, bam, that's pretty good for 2.1. So if you're looking to save money because you're getting Thor and Kenta into your lineup, punting catcher is one of my favorite spots to do it, and I don't love any of these other options, so it's worth the consideration. It's been kind of a BVP-ish day looking into my my research a bit. And I don't let that influence me too much, but one that I forgot to mention about Molina, he does have a great record versus Cueto, or a pretty good one anyway. It's limited at bats, not really significant, but at a 2.1K punt, it's maybe enough to sway me. But I'm not getting swayed by the recency bias from yesterday and Chris Davis screwing me over. Against Eovaldi today is a great matchup for him. His price remains great on DK, 3.9. 3.9 on FanDuel, a little bit harder to justify. I probably don't have to tell you, but David Ortiz is having something of a good season. And he kept that rolling last night. I see no reason for that to stop against R.A. Dickey, against whom he's hit several homers in the past. 5.5 on DK. going to be hard to fit him in. You're going to have to be spending up, but big poppy, big price, and he has a lot of chance to put up a big score. 4.6 on FanDuel, a little bit easier to swing. But I also like Carlos Santana. In the same BVP vein, he's got a good record against Volquez, but also these aren't the reasons I'm picking him, just additional information I'm throwing out there. 4.1 on DK makes him a little bit of a mid-priced option, and yet 3.5 on FanDuel. He's the cheapest of the three guys there. I think I prefer him over Davis at 3.9 on FanDuel. But if you can fit in Ortiz, that's great too. Second base has also got some expensive plays. Might be a good place to spend up because there's less guys that I like at the lower end, but there's a couple that I'll throw at you. First of all, we got Ian Kinsler against Rodon. 4.7 on DK, so really expensive there. 4.0 on FanDuel, much more affordable. Similar story with Dustin Pedroia, again against Dickey. You know, this Red Sox offense is just like unstoppable lately. 4.9 on DK, even more expensive than Kinsler. But again, just 4.0 on FanDuel, so a much nicer price there. I think either one of those guys would suit you very well, especially on FanDuel. If you need someone cheaper on DK, you can look to the Padres. I know, crazy, but have you seen their box scores lately? I don't mind taking a shot on Solarte versus Rusin at 3.3 on DK. He's not a second baseman on FanDuel, so forget it. But who is a second baseman on FanDuel, and I wanted to save him for shortstop, but I mentioned him there for DK again anyway, is Jurickson Profar, who goes up against Taijuan Walker, the biggest trap of the day. I didn't mention him with the pitching because don't play him in cash, but he's 5,900 and just such a tempting trap. DK, you did it right today, and I don't know what to do with him in GPP, but we'll talk about that in the expert chat later. Probably fade him. But anyway, so that's kind of up to you as to decide which Walker we're getting today. But Profar is 3.2 on DK. You could play him as a bargain at second base too. 2.5 on FanDuel. Really great price. Recent call-up. Used to be a hot prospect. Some injury, blah, blah, blah. He's been raking since he got called up to the bigs again now. And at those kind of prices, I don't think he's going to stay that cheap for long if he stays in the lineup. One guy you might not have noticed who's quietly having a pretty damn good season is Jose Ramirez over at third base, although technically he's playing outfield now, and he'll probably get moved on FanDuel before long. On DK, he's already eligible at both spots, but I like him better at third. 3.7 on DK going up against Volquez. 3.1 on FanDuel, just really cheap there. Still the cheapest of the plays I like on DK. But also there's Nick Castellanos against Rodon. I don't think too much of Rodon as a pitcher, and he's prone to blow up, so Castellanos in a good spot to take advantage of that. 4.3 on DK and 3.3 on FanDuel is really, that's a great price. I think I like him maybe the best on FanDuel. And then there's Anthony Rendon, who I just learned it's Rendon. I thought it was just Rendon, but I was wrong, as I am with many of their names, I'm sure. Versus Brandon Finnegan, who just has been getting blown up of late. 4.5 on DK, 3.7 on FanDuel. You know, as with most of these guys, he's cheaper, even relatively, on FanDuel. But, excuse me, good price on either side. Still the most expensive of them. And well, I don't know. Between him and Castellanos is kind of a toss-up for the most upsides. I definitely love Castellanos on FanDuel at that 3.3 price. Shortstop is actually going to be very short today. As much as I do like Jurickson Profar at 3.2 on DK, he might actually be better played at second base now that I think about it, because in cash I don't see how you fade Carlos Correa. He has just been on fire. He's just a great player. I'm a big fan of him. 3.9 on DK. He was 3.6 yesterday. It was a ridiculous price. He put up like 15 DK points. Was pretty good. 4.2 on FanDuel. It's kind of whatever. FanDuel, I would say, lock in Manny Machado, 3.9 against Eovaldi. He's 4.7 on DK to give you an idea of the pricing differential. And for me, that's what you do at shortstop today. I wouldn't think too hard on it. I've been talking up this outfielder for a few days now, and he hasn't really disappointed. I mean, last night wasn't a great game, but he still got a hit, still got on base. That's what we're looking for, guys, not killing us. And that's Hyun-Soo Kim, and I think he could have had a much better game last night. There was some unluckiness there going on for sure, and some close calls. I've already talked about Eovaldi being a blow-up artist. 3.2 on DK is a nice price. 2.6 on FanDuel is a really nice price. And then, of course, I love to bring up Nomar Mazara. He's another newbie to the league who is just tearing it up. And Taijuan Walker may well be his latest victim today. 3.9 on DK, so his price is starting to come up there. 2.7 on FanDuel. No, I like him a lot. But if you are looking for even cheaper plays on FanDuel, Michael Taylor will likely be in the lineup for the Nats against Finnegan today. He's 3.7 on DK, which is kind of, but he's 2.4 on FanDuel, which is a pretty nice price, especially since he'll probably be either near the top of the order or kind of in the middle of the order there. So watch out for that. Check out the Nationals lineup, and he could be a nice value play for you on FanDuel. I don't think I have to mention that Mookie Betts is doing quite well lately. Of course, he didn't homer yesterday, so maybe you forgot about him. I don't know. But he's 5.5 on DK today, 4.7 on FanDuel. A well-deserved price, although he's a bit too cheap on FanDuel, honestly. And I think his matchup against Dickey is great. I would hope that maybe his mediocre game yesterday would throw some people off of him, but I don't really think so. I think that's just me being hopeful, but if you got the cash to get Mookie in there, that's a good play. And you might be able to when you're playing some of these value plays. Another one being Adam Jones, who even on DK, his price is just wrong now. He had a double dong yesterday, showing off that upside. I don't know if I'm not going to call for that today. I didn't see it coming yesterday, to be honest. But I still like him at 3.4 on DK and at 3.1 on FanDuel. And then lastly, and it's not often that I recommend a Philly, but Odubel Herrera has really been having a nice season. Go look at his game logs. Really consistent. A lot of double-digit games. 3.5 on DK is a really, really nice price for him. Jimmy Nelson, despite being priced over 10K, is not an over 10K pitcher. He's been doing very well, but he's not that good. I think DK is overvaluing how good he is in the price, which you can see because he's the same price on FanDuel, 3.5. Not interested so much at that price. But that's my take on the pricing there. And those are all the plays I have for you today. We're going to have a little daily Dong Finder chart coming out later, so watch for that on in the Slurve tailgate and on the Slurve Twitter. And then make sure you come by later at 5 Eastern. We're doing an expert chat. Dropping my notebook, but it's like my favorite thing. I love getting on there and talking lineups with Max, Adam, Eric, and taking all you guys' questions and answering them and building some kick-ass lineups together. It's always a good time. Once again, I am Steve. This is Slurve and Cash Game Cornerstones for June 3rd. Good luck tonight, guys.